Hello and welcome to Intoxicated Masculinity. We've got another cocktail video for you today. Today we're going to be looking at the Bourbon Milk Punch. I recently got this book of all the gin joints from Edward Hemingway and Mark Bailey. Essentially the cocktail book is talking about, golden and silver age movie stars and drink stories from them. In this particular one is a story from Humphrey Bogart, who's one of my favorite old movie stars. I grew up on Casablanca and Sahara and all the other great Bogart films. Maltese Falcon, obviously. So the history of the cocktail itself, before we talk about bogey, is the punch. So the punch is an incredibly old cocktail. Dave Wondrich wrote a book called Punch, which he talks about it in depth. The punch goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. It's changed forms a lot. Essentially, it started off. People were pouring a bunch of things into a big punch bowl and then drinking it. They would typically have these really small glasses, and you would sort of take out a little bit and just sort of sip on your little punch. And punch has changed a lot over the years, and I'm not going to get into the whole history of it here because there's just too much of it. The reason they're covering it in this book is Humphrey Bogart was a bit of a drinker. It's said that the only night he didn't drink on was New Year's Eve because everybody else was drinking, and Humphrey Bogart's too cool for that kind of thing. So the Bourbon Milk Punch was the cocktail that they would drink at Christmas time. It's a very sort of Christmassy cocktail. It's very creamy. It's sweeter. You put some nutmeg over top of it, and it's a great thing to have over the holidays. So that was the cocktail that they would serve at Christmas time. Now, in the cocktail, it talks about this cocktail as a punch. I'm not going to do it as a punch. We're going to do it as a single cocktail, so I'm going to change the ingredients and the proportions up just a little bit. But now that we know a little bit about the history of the cocktail and a little bit about Humphrey Bogart, again, one of the coolest actors ever, let's go ahead and make the cocktail. Alright, now that we've learned about this cocktail, let's go ahead and make it. So I'm going to start off, this cocktail calls for confectionery sugar and a few dashes or a few tablespoons of vanilla extract. I don't think that's really going to work as far as doing this as a single cocktail, so I'm going to go ahead and use a vanilla simple syrup. This is just a equal parts sugar cane and water, and then you throw in some vanilla beans. You put it on the stove, let it boil down a little bit, put it in a bottle, and you're good to go for a long time. Now, this cocktail was also in the book set to be a punch. This is something you would combine a bunch of ingredients into a punch bowl. You would let it soak for a while. We're making this as a single cocktail, so I've had to kind of change up on the ingredients a little bit as far as the proportions. So we're going to go and start off with 3/4 of an ounce, very slowly, of our vanilla simple syrup. Now the reason I always start off with my simple syrup is because it's very thick, and a lot of times you don't get your full pour out of it. You get some that's kind of sticking there in the jigger. And if you do it like this, you can then pour your next ingredient in, and in this case it's going to be whole milk, and we're going to get out some more of that simple syrup. So in this case we're going to use 3 ounces of whole milk. Just like that. And the bourbon we're going to use in our Bourbon Milk Punch is going to be 4 Roses. The reason I'm using 4 Roses is I want something that's got some spice to it. This is, like we talked about, this is a Christmassy cocktail for Mr. Bogart. 4 Roses is a high rye bourbon, but it doesn't come off as spicy like you would like your wild turkeys and things like that. This more comes off as spice. So if you think of like a spiced apple pie, which I think is a great thing to have it at Christmas time. And who doesn't want whiskey at Christmas time? So we're going to go ahead and toss in 2 ounces of our 4 Roses. Alright, we already have ice and shake, so we're going to pound that down. You want to start off shaking it kind of lightly so you don't get any of your drink coming out. But once you've shaken it a little bit, those are going to seal together because of the cold, and then you can really start shaking the heck out of it. You're going to shake it for about 10-15 seconds. What you're really feeling for is for your shaker to start to frost over. Then you really know you've got your proper dilution, your proper cooling. So yeah, give it about 10 seconds shaking. All right. Go ahead and open that up. Now there's a few different ways you could serve this. In a highball, I think would work. In a Tom Collins, I think would work. In this case, we're just going to use a rocks glass with a nice big chunk of ice in there. Now, we didn't use any fruit juices or anything like that. You'd be okay just single straining this. But I don't know about you, I hate those tiny little chunks of ice that can end up in your cocktail. It kind of ruins the consistency of the drink. So I double strain it anyway. So you just got that real nice, clear, creamy color. Just give it a little tap there. And of course, since it's Christmassy, we're going to go ahead and just grind a little bit of nutmeg over top of that. So in honor of one of the greatest movie stars of all time, Humphrey Bogart, there's your bourbon milk punch. Now, let's go and see what it tastes like. That's really good. It's one of those things, when you see bourbon and milk together, it's not a combination that sort of strikes you as, ooh, I want more bourbon in my milk. Except for maybe in the morning sometimes. They actually go together really well. Because the bourbon is sweet, but you got a little bit of that spice there. And the creaminess just gives it a great mouthfeel. Yeah, this is a great cocktail. The nutmeg on top brings a little bit more of the spice to it. Yeah, if you're looking to open something nice on Christmas morning, you could do a lot worse than this. I want everybody to like and subscribe. Tell me what your favorite Christmassy sort of cocktails are. We're having our Christmas in August. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, and have a good drink, and have a good day.